You need to stop marketing your books like shit, okay? Stop acting like other authors are your target audience, because yes, I love authors, I am an author, and I have so many author friends, but they are not my target audience for my books. Now, there's nothing wrong with having authors in your audience, but when you make your entire audience for your fiction books authors, you are limiting yourself so damn much. So for one, let's just look at pure goddamn numbers. There are 2.5 million authors in the United States when you consider self-published authors in the equation. There are 163.2 million readers, 163.2 million people in the United States alone. This is not taking into account global numbers, people all over the world in other countries that also read books. 163.2 million people have read a book within the last year in the United States. Obviously, when you niche down and say this is the genre I'm pointing towards, those numbers decrease, but they don't just decrease with readers, okay? They decrease with authors. Did you know that a massive number of people who self-publish their own books only publish a single book, which tends to be an autobiography or a memoir? If you are making general content for authors as your marketing strategy, you are sending out your mystery thriller or your romance books or your fantasy books toward a bunch of people who only write about themselves and who really don't do a ton of reading necessarily. There's a ton of people who never read books who still write and publish a book. Not that there's anything wrong with writing and publishing a memoir, okay? But the point is that when that's your only audience, when the other people who publish books are your only audience, you are going to see a massive decrease in your numbers. That's why when people come in here talking shit about me and saying, well, you don't actually have any book marketing posts on your page here, and your books under Kate Hall are not making you millions of dollars, and like, you must be a liar. It's because I'm not marketing my fucking books to authors, okay? Yes, I will grab a copy of my book and be like, hey, look, this is the book that I wrote. This is my book. I like this book. I wrote this book. I worked hard on this book and it matters to me. But guess the fuck what? Authors are not going to read it. The audience that I have here on YouTube or anywhere that I use this Kate Align name and talk about this content, they are probably not going to go read my book. This book is not going to see a spike in sales despite the tens of thousands of views I'm going to get from this single video across different ways that I post about it. But I will get a boost in that book when I market it towards readers who enjoy cowboy romance books. If I were only marketing this towards authors who are interested in cowboy romance, I would be limiting myself so much that I would not be able to make a living from my books. Add to this the just massive number of authors who are only posting their books and talking about their books to other authors, and you are then competing for their attention, which is, as an author, very limited. We are spending a ton of time writing our books or designing covers or procrastinating writing our books. I know I make that joke a lot, but it's fucking true. So stop marketing your books to authors. If you want an exact step-by-step on how I market my books and how you can market your books and sell a crap ton of books, check out the link in the description because that is the fastest way I can help you make a crap ton of sales. But other than that, let's look at how you're marketing towards authors and how we can switch that up and market towards readers instead. The first thing is I see a lot of authors who are like, okay, this is my writing process. I sit down to write. I write this many words and this is my process and I'm dealing with procrastination, but I'm still working on it and I'm doing this. But that content only appeals to authors and you're not giving us any information about your book or your characters. We don't know what your book is about from these posts. We don't care about your characters at all. You need to make people care about your characters. So instead of saying, I sat down to write today and here's what I did to deal with my writer's block, instead I want you to make content that says, I just finished writing this book and this is the juiciest part of it. Or I just sat and wrote a scene where she does it with her enemy in the middle of the street. That is actually from one of my books. Fun fact. Like, give us something juicy. Give us information from your books. Give us content that makes us care about your characters or your plot or something shocking or something interesting, okay? It doesn't have to be all about you. We want it to be about your books. In that same vein, your content can't all be guilt-tripping people into buying your book. This is similar to what I talked about in my video about how nobody owes you book sales and nobody has to buy your book. The thing is, when you guilt-trip someone into buying your book, they're buying it because they feel bad for you. They're not buying it because they're going to read it or because they're interested in it. The best way to build an author career is off of people who want to read the books you write. I know, that sounds crazy. That sounds like a revolution. That's an insane idea that people might want to read your damn books. And it sure feels crazy when all your content is guilting people and just making them feel bad for you and saying, well, nobody showed up to buy my books or nobody has bought a single copy of any one of my books. That makes people not want to read it. It makes people buy out of guilt, but they don't want to read it because they're going to wonder, why is nobody buying this book, right? They're going to wonder what's wrong with your book. Guilt tripping people doesn't work, and it's not a long-term strategy, especially if that's all you post. In fact, I don't want you to talk about sales numbers at all. You shouldn't be talking about how many books you've sold unless you're saying this has become a massive bestseller because of this one specific scene or this one specific thing, or this is what people love about this book. Or saying that you have thousands of reviews of people who like this book, even though it is a twist on a common trope. It's Beauty and the Beast, but she only wants to fuck him when he's a beast, right? Like, give us something. Again, you need to get people invested in the story, not just the fact that you've sold books or the fact that you haven't sold books. Because again, why the fuck would somebody want to buy your books if you are not selling anything, if nobody else wants to read it? If a restaurant opens up in my town and is open for 6 months or a year, and they say, well, we only get 1 or 2 customers a month, I'm going to say, well, what the fuck is wrong with your restaurant? I'm not going to say this must be a really good restaurant that it just hasn't been found yet. Another way that you are marketing to authors instead of readers is by using writing hashtags like #amwriting or #query-trenches or whatever. If you're making that type of content and you're pushing it towards authors, then the books you're trying to sell better be about publishing and how to publish and helping authors with their books. Another thing I see a lot of people do is they will share like an aesthetic board of their book, but they won't give any context on what's going on in the book. They won't give us information on why we should care. Aesthetic boards can be great for books that are already super well known. An aesthetic board for Fourth Wing, where everybody knows the basic idea of it, is totally fine. But an aesthetic board for a book that nobody's heard of, where we get no information on it, where we don't even know the genre, it's not going to do well. You also don't want to share relatable author memes, because again, that is marketing to authors. Saying, oh my gosh, I'm in the editing trenches and it sucks, which is me right now because I fucking hate editing my books. But I'm not going to post that content to authors and expect them to buy it. And I'm not going to post that content expecting readers to interact with it. For one, they generally won't. They don't care about the writing process unless they get some juicy information about the book. And for another, if you are posting all of these like relatable author things on an account that is otherwise supposed to be about the books, then the algorithm of whatever site you're using, I don't care if it's Instagram or TikTok or YouTube or whatever, the algorithm for that is not going to be optimized to show that piece of content to readers, and it's going to get confused by that content. And along with like relatable author memes, writing advice doesn't sell books. Saying, okay, well, here's how I do dialogue doesn't sell books unless you're saying, I ended this on this really dramatic piece of dialogue where he said, will you marry me, to a girl that he met 5 minutes ago. Like, that's the type of thing that sells books. Giving dramatic scenes from your book is the type of thing that sells books. Writing advice doesn't sell books unless the book is about writing advice, unless it's a book on writing craft or writing advice. So if you want to learn how to pull things that are really good at marketing and will help you market your books, make sure to check out the link in the description, because I have helped thousands of authors make a full-time living at this without all of the mistakes.